So, good morning. First of all, Wim, good job, first presentation.
Thank you.
So my name's Tearle on CWLA. Can I just see how many CWLEs we have in the room? Yeah, that's right, this is good to see. So I am from London, so I do apologise for that, and I do speak really, really quickly. So if you think, oh Ian, shut up, I don't understand the word you're saying, one of my colleagues at the back of the room, Wim, where are you, Wim? There he is. Look at that, Wim, it's Wim. He speaks Dutch really, really well, so go and ask him a question afterwards, it'd be great. Yeah, so I do 5G stuff. A CWLE is a certified wireless networking expert, we should all know that. So I've done Wi-Fi for about 20 odd years. I've moved to the dark side. I got to 5G. It's like 5G's. The gentleman said, I'm sorry, but 5G's going to rule the world. It's going to take everything. Oh, how did that happen? So anyway, I don't have children. I have 2 grown-up children, but I have a dog. This is Stanley, and there's Brian. So, what are we going to talk about now? Let's talk about what 5G is and where it enables us and what it actually does to help us as an industry, as a what? What is going on? I don't know what. So, did you play around with my laptop, Rob? Right. So, our day starts out, we probably use 5G and we don't even realise that we're using 5G. Who bought a coffee this morning? Anybody buy coffee? Anybody get a taxi here or an Uber or anything like that? Well, I'll stick around because I know you're in a taxi.
Yeah, but they didn't accept cards.
No, they didn't accept cards, which is really weird. But the point is that our days start out using probably cellular somehow, somewhere. Is that a bad thing about Wi-Fi? No. Because in theory, when we move forward, we have all these wireless access points. There's a gentleman in the room called Raymond Hendricks. He's out here somewhere. There he is at the back of the room. He's just run a LoRaWAN course. All of these technologies are wireless. What does that mean, Wi-Fi? They're wireless technologies that help us to enable us to do what we've got to do. And it just so happens I've moved towards the 5G side of things. And the concept, there's a guy in our industry, I'm not going to mention him. He won't talk about 5G. It is the devil's work. It's the dark side. It's never, Wi-Fi's always, no. We look at LoRaWAN for speciality, we look at Bluetooth for special things, we look at Zigbee, we use all these wireless technologies. And this is I work for Tearle. Tearle is our warehouse, right? We are probably one of the biggest deployers of 5G in the world. And this is actually a part of our statement. We are here to support Wi-Fi as well. We're not coming in to kill it, because that's just really, really stupid. Because I'm going to walk into a hospital, and I'm going to go to the guy, I'm going to build you a private cellular network, and I'm going to rip out all your Wi-Fi. And the guy in the radiology department is going to swear at me a lot, and he's going to kick me out of the building. We have to support these technologies together. So right now, we have private networks that, when we look at a Wi-Fi network is a private network. It's a network that's being used in a business in a way. But actually, when we look at the public cellular network, and we move that cellular network back into the private network, we're just doing the same as everybody else has done with Wi-Fi, but with a slightly different technology. Which is going to enable different things in different use cases. So, just do that. Just don't know why I put that in there. Doesn't this look similar? I've got an access point. Well, actually, we call it a radio access network, or it's an AP. I've got the core network. I've got the authentication device, and I have a client device. It's the same type of thing. When we start looking at signal levels, moving into the cellular space, is a bit of a transition. I've had to learn some things the hard way. And I've had people like women in the back of the room telling me how to do things properly. Because as a Wi-Fi guy, I do it this way. And telling you, I'm going to do it that way, I'm going to do it this way. And you go, that doesn't make any sense at all. And then we dig into this, when we start looking, and you'll notice, what's the one thing missing off this slide? Come on guys, what's missing off this slide? The signal strength isn't everything, is it? Signal and noise ratio. Spot on. So you can have a fantastic signal, but your SNR can be awful and it's going to break things. So remember that, because there's a slide later on, we're going to go into that a little bit more. And I do like to make these interactive, so if you want to ask questions, throw your hand in the air, and then we can have a conversation. So, who's from the Netherlands in this room? Okay, lots of you. The bad news is you don't get 5G properly. So this great conversation I'm having is like a total waste of time. But it's not. As of December the 1st, and I only found this out yesterday, as of December the 1st, you are getting there's 3 bands in cellular, and we'll go into that in a minute. You're getting access to the next level up. Who do we think in the world is number 1 for 5G networks?
South Korea.
Who said that? Christ on the man in the room. No, it wasn't my colleague actually, I don't even know him yet. He knows the word yet.
So what is his price?
Sorry?
What is his price?
I can't hear you.
What did he win? He won.
Oh, he was nothing. Don't forget I'm British, I'm not part of the EU anymore, I'm not that rich stuff really. You know, I walk into this country now and they stamp my passport and they go, you have electronics, please pay this tax. He's not really interested. So, we call it wireless WAN. Wireless WAN enables us to do certain things. We will work with what we call technical alliance partners, and we'll see an example of that in a minute, where we can take such things as video cameras, put it on the network, we can provide wireless failover, we can do primary connectivity. There's a gentleman in the back of the room I'm going to talk to you later. In the UK, we are enabling something called EduRoam using 5G in remote locations. So they don't have to go in and dig up the road and put a fibre in. They can put a classroom wherever they like, whenever they like. Because it enables us to do things in different ways. Is that taken away from the wireless, the Wi-Fi? Not really, because I'm still using the Wi-Fi with an EduRoam SSID on the device. So this stuff goes hand in hand. Oh. Do you know what? You come up with these great ideas of putting all these animations in and stuff like that, and dancing dogs, and then you forget about it and you just go, really? So, it's just going to be one of those days. I'm sorry. I apologise for this confusion. Does anyone have any questions about a medium to large site failover? Does anyone know what failover is?
Does it fail? Yeah. What is failover, yeah?
Thanks, Rob. Love you. So there's probably 2 or 3 guys here from the UK. In the UK, in the last 2 weeks, we've had some fun and games. There have been 2 major service providers that have had up to 56,000 customers fail on their broadband networks. Now, one of them had a very large lot of amount of shops in the UK. So straight away, that broadband connection became my weak point. They were using wireless to do their scanning, their PCI stuff, their credit card transactions. That failed. So we're looking at using the 5G as a failover to protect the network, to enable services to carry on working. Okay? What is it? What's 5G add over the 4G? So it adds a new radio access network, 2 new spectrum layers within Europe. Network transition technologies and private 5G. This is why I came here. This is why I came to Craven Point. You know, it's all very well having devices that connect to the 5G network, but if you can build a private cellular network that complements the wireless network using 5G technologies, they're going hand in hand. And yes, I am going to go a little bit more technical if you're on board. Right?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Okay. On that last slide, there was something called carrier aggregation. Does anyone know what carrier aggregation is? Go ahead, sir.
It's the simultaneous use of multiple frequency bands up to 4 maximum now.
Okay, so this is really cool. Because in Wi-Fi, we do channel aggregation. In cellular, we can do carrier aggregation. So we can take up to 4 different frequencies. And if the device supports them, we can kind of bond the channels together to give ourselves a bigger channel. Hey, what does that sound like? Does that sound like Wi-Fi? Okay? So these are the spectrums that we have. Right now in the Netherlands, you have the coverage layer. And the coverage layer is it's not very fast, but it's for lots of people. Those IoT devices, or you'll see that you're connected to 5G, and I suspect you're probably not connected to 5G, you're connected to a 4G tower, and then you might need 5G. But in the Netherlands, December 1st, you're not going to get the capacity layer. Yes, sir.
There might be some hiccups on the way.
There's always hiccups along the way. Nothing ever runs. These guys expect that they get Wi-Fi 7 in 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Really? Come on. We didn't even get Wi-Fi 6 to work properly.
Well, you're going to clear the frequency here in Holland. The other thing you have to do is still auction off the actual use of the frequency, so it's never going to happen in December.
Well,
Manipulated.
but there's always a couple of people in the room, isn't there? All right? But it's like, you know, at the end of the day, you're getting access to that frequency.
Yeah.
We don't even get access to the millimeter stuff in the UK. I mean, the millimeter stuff, if you get it right, is really, really cool. Is it really, really useful?
Nah.
Yeah, no, yes and no, and why am I talking? And I'm going to use the immortal words of Sam Clemens here. It depends. Alright? Because it does depend. It depends on what I need. It depends on what we're trying to achieve.
True.
So right now, you look at the coverage layer. So I'm probably doing traffic lights, I'm probably doing, buses, no duplicate stuff, nothing the same. And as we move, we're going to build in that capacity layer, and then one day we may see high capacity 5G. Okay? So what are these being used for? These are going to coexist together, and they're going to work together. So we do a lot of work in fire engines and police cars and all that cool funky stuff. And a lot of the devices that are connected in that fire engine or in that police car or in that lorry are either connected via wire or they're connected via Wi-Fi. So we're using the 5G for fleet tracking. I was in one of my colleagues' cars yesterday and we were driving from somewhere to, actually it was Utrecht. And he's got his phone and his phone keeps beeping and it keeps going up, but it'll tell you where the police car's coming up behind, or whether there's an ambulance coming, or whether there's roadworks ahead. That's all done and set on the 5G network. It can be set on 4G, you know, I'm not arguing that point, but 4G, 5G, it's there to be used, okay? So, has anybody ever heard of a non-standalone network? And I know you have, you're really clever. Conversation afterwards, you're going to rip me to pieces. So a non-standalone port is this. It has the capabilities for 4G and 5G. And when I initially set up my connection on the 5G network with my 5G enabled device, I connect via 4G. And 4G says, oh, you don't need 5G. You're only browsing TikTok. And then this channel comes on and he decides he's going to download his big app file. Now he needs 5G. Actually, when you listen to that, that is the way that Wi-Fi 6 was supposed to work, the multi-use micro and IDMA, would we say so? The resource units, the applications I'm downloading, what do I need to use, etc. Right. So that's the way most networks work right now in the 5G world. They're non-standalone networks, and they use the 4G to start that conversation going. So you can test the 5G network and you can see that your speeds are rubbish. because you're not really using 5G. Until you start ramping up your speed tests on the 5G, then you see that it goes, oh, you need more bandwidth, you need more bandwidth. Okay? So, we're moving along now from this 4G non-standalone where we support the network. And the evolution should, and I say should, because we all know things change, should go like this. Currently we have non-standalone deployments where we can connect to a 5G network or a 4G network, but it still goes back to LTE packet call. That's how it works right now. When you hear of a standalone deployment, I'm not sure about the Netherlands, but in the UK we're starting to see more and more standalone deployments, and it's quite interesting. Companies like the service provider 3 in the UK are firing up 5G masts. It's ridiculous. Well, you can see here, we support the 5G enterprise router, which can connect to the 5G network if it's there, or the 4G network. It's backwards compatible. Like Wi-Fi, isn't it? But we have to build a backwards compatibility. I spoke about this earlier, single levels, and I asked what was missing, and you guys said correctly, SNR. SNR here. In cellular, we do not use SNR. We use SINR, signal to interference noise ratio. Now, when we use this, it's actually the mast talking to the clients and working out what is acceptable, what's good use, what's my RSRQ, my RSRP, we don't drill down into that. But we're looking at the channel quality indicator, so it's actually the mast that have more control over this. So from a cellular perspective, we're expecting the devices to have better use case, okay? So, this is what we use for Wi-Fi. RSSI, we combine it with SNR, we look at the NGS rates, etc. There's a great slide there where you see, you put something out on the web, where he had a great signal strength, he had a great RSSI, and his tips were 0. Okay? So what we're doing is we're trying, cellular uses RSRP. And RSRP, when we combine it with the RSRQ, is the figure that we want to see when we look at the device, the end user device. So from a cellular perspective, you have to have the tools and the intelligence to be able to monitor that, okay? Well, resource blocks. 4G doesn't use resource blocks in the same way as 5G. But resource blocks are the same type of thing that we use within Wi-Fi. Am I using the room yet, or is everybody still here? Good. Oh, I saw someone fall at the second. I have seen this. I was in a bar, and don't be surprised, I'm usually in a bar. I was in a bar with one of my colleagues at Boise. Boise, if you don't know, is in a place called Idaho. And they make potatoes. Lots of potatoes. And there was a mast on top of the building, and he fired up his phone, and he got 4.6 gig through his phone. I mean, let's be realistic, that's a lot of downloading. But that's the type of thing is that we expect from a high capacity lab. When we start looking at the capacity lab in that, we're talking 1500 meg. In the UK right now, we can run speed tests on devices that I use, and I'm running anywhere between 400 to 500 megabits a second over the 5G cellular network. Okay? So from that edge run perspective, taking 20 students on a device in a remote site or in the middle of a field, in the middle of nowhere, to continue their education, their learning, using the Wi-Fi to connect to edge run. It's not like I'm down here where I'm starting to use these low data rates where it's affecting us. Okay. Anybody ever heard of network slicing? Oh, it's bogging man down. This is a bit of the holy grail of 5G, because what I want to try and do is I want to take that 5G network and I want to go, sir, I'm going to give you 100 meg minimum, and I'm going to give you this delay and this latency. You only get 5 meg because you're not paying the price, all right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build a slicing into the network that allows me to do a couple of things. And I know it's a horrible thing to say, but you know, the carriers have to make some money, right? They don't do this for free. So they want to build on the success of the network. They want to use MPLS type technologies, and they want to be able to do this over the 5G network. In the enterprise space, we want to do high performance, small, secure networking. And before anyone asks, does it exist? Yes. So because we're owned, and I'll say it again by Ericsson, I have to, they sponsor me. Because we're owned by Ericsson and MWC ran a network slice. And it's actually in the public domain. You can see the videos, do a search on it. We ran a network slice from the 5G network across the cradle point device, because the cradle point devices support the slicing technology. Because depending on the client. Because if the client doesn't support it, you don't understand it. So we have that capability, it's there, it's running, it's working. We use technologies that the whole industry knows. You know, we use EAP. We haven't reinvented the wheel. We use an EAP for authentication. We use TLS. These are all standard things. But what this may well give us in the long term, and actually help enable us from a Wi-Fi perspective, is we have different modes of connectivity. We can have failover, we can have day one. I think I covered off the wireless failover earlier. We're all into the SD-WAN, and everyone's talking about SD-WAN and how that's going to be really, really cool. Well, what if I could do traffic shaping where I use my broadband connection for X, Y, and Z, and I use my cellular connection for ABC. So that's where we're trying to get to. This technology is supplemental, it's a complementary technology. It's not here to go and steal anyone's airtime, you know? I can't work out why this policeman looks so happy. I really, it kind of bothers me a little bit. But let's be truthful, right? Multiple wireless apps. I have a policeman sitting in a vehicle, and most of his devices may well be wireless, which connects to the 5G routes of the vehicle. HD streaming, augmented reality. We're working on a project in the UK where we're working with a fire college. And these guys are running around with VR type stuff with the maps of the building in their systems. So when they're walking into a fire, into a building, they build this database correctly. They're going to know every building in the UK. They're going to know the floor plans. They're going to know the fire escapes. They're going to know the lift routes. 5G is going to help us enable that as well. Right? You know what, I really do a quick presentation. So, we need more power, because if we're going to do a private cellular network, our AB is going to be bigger than everybody else's. Okay? We have to be careful about where we put those devices within the building. So, for example, in the UK, the regulation is that you cannot have a private cellular antenna within 50 metres of an outside wall. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why. That's our spirits. We like to be different, slightly argumentative. We have, it is a more technical setup. I'll clarify something in a minute. Because you guys are all very clever. We all know RF. We all know wireless. We all know how to do presentation of LCMI. But we need the tools to support us. Does anybody recognise this?
Hamina.
What is it?
Tearle Hamina, isn't it?
Yeah. So we have a working relationship with Hamina, where within our PCN solution, within the cradle point PCN solution, you can build, using Hamina, almost like other site survey tools. Did you see the way I politically correctly said that? Other site survey tools built into our system. Why am I going on about this a little bit? As I've said already, we're run by Ericsson, and Ericsson do some really, really scary, really clever stuff with their city-wide outdoor EP5G stuff. You know, you want to cover a factory where you must have 2 millisecond delay. Build EP5G. We have a factory that is, they use autonomous vehicles around the factory, and they build things on this vehicle. So it goes from one point to another point to another point. If I walk in front of that vehicle, because I've gone for the coffee break or I had a skinful last time, I've got a hangover, and I'm not really thinking correctly, that vehicle has to stop. It can't be a 30 millisecond delay. It has to be 2 milliseconds. So the network is capable of providing an actual 2 millisecond delay to get the information to the safety system to work effectively. That's where the EP5G comes in, the Ericsson solution, which funnily enough doesn't have this in it. But when we start coming down into the global solution, I want to show you this. There is a problem with cellular. And the problem is, how do you know what your phone is connected to at the moment, and can you see a representation of it with the signals? It's quite a hard thing to do. You can get down into the phone, and you can take loads of data points from the phone. But if you have a system that's been built to complement Wi-Fi, we've built our system to support Wi-Fi guys, because this is not being ready. We need to build it as a Wi-Fi-like network deployment that guys like yourselves can go, I can do that, I can learn that, and actually it's almost the same as deploying a Wi-Fi network. We just have to know about ours, so you have to know about this. So we're going to give you the tools. That's why we built in Armada and stuff like that. You know, you want to be able to see me sell ideas. We had a site in Italy, and it was hundreds of fast food restaurants. And in 2 particular sites, the device would just keep grabbing hold of a really dirty, it was just a horrible frequency, and the throughput was horrible. So we built the product so we could see what cell we were connected to, and then we built in band masking. So actually, I could stop you connecting to those horrible bands and force you to connect to the output bands, which gives you the bandwidth that you need for the network. Okay? This is the what we call the network, private network. You'll notice that we are still using the word CBRS. CBRS is an American standard. CBRS is actually really cool when you look at it, because it actually tells you you can use that spectrum and you can use that spectrum. You can't use that spectrum there, buddy. So it's a way of, it's a federated system to check spectrum in your area. But we can see the different devices. And look, this endpoint is using Wi-Fi. Does anyone have any questions at the moment on this? Does anyone disagree with me? And say this isn't, going to help the Wi-Fi industry or the connectivity or anything like that? Oh, there's there. Well, that's better than nothing, to be honest.
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, it's just 4G a bit souped up.
It's like humano.
I'm gonna, sorry?
It's like multi-user mino.
It's so good, baby.
So I'm sure it has use cases, but well, I'm from Holland, yes, so we don't get 5G at all anyway, and so I'm not too worried about it. But if I brought also especially for private 5G, it's not really big market or anything.
We're going to have a seriously cool conversation. No, please. I mean, I was that man until I started using it, and I went, crap, that's good one, 617. But let's go down there. So we built the private network from the protocol point perspective to have that Wi-Fi-like experience. It's cloud native. Currently we're only running it in the US. So all this stuff I'm promising you doesn't exist. We're going to let the Americans break it first. They're going to fix all the software and find all the bugs. Then we're going to have it deployed out into Europe, probably third quarter of this year. Now, we are already building sites within the UK. One of them is that fire brigade college I was talking about. This site is 1.5 miles by 1 mile wide. They have XRAF fighter jets that they set on fire. I mean, this site's really cool. Wi-Fi's really bad. And the cellular in that environment, because it's in the back end of nowhere, you can't get more than 2 or 3 meg out of the cellular network. But if I build you a private cellular network to cover that area and enhance it with Wi-Fi, now I'm delivering services whereby we can learn from it. So, that's enough. I'm just going to leave this one slide here because, and don't get excited, Rob. It can be anything. It can be Aruba, it can be Cisco, it can be Tesco, it can be Zyxel. As long as the device has the intelligence, we can put any APs. The object of this is to show you that it works hand in hand. This is exactly what we're building at that site that I was talking about. They're using Wi-Fi, they're using cellular. They're offloading devices off the Wi-Fi network onto the cellular network to make the Wi-Fi network perform better. Again, it's just a complementary technology, and it's something that, well, I believe as we move forward, like WLA, like Bluetooth, like Zigbee, it will find its place, and there is a need right now for this.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Because Bluetooth is integrated in the Nexus point.
Yep.
So is Zigbee.
Yep.
There's no vendor in the world that integrates private 5G in the Nexus point. Lucas started, it's dead.
Yeah.
We tried and failed miserably.
Who do you work for, sir?
Cisco.
Ah, yeah. You just announced a big NTT.
Probably in the US, because the CBR or something. We tried to do a private cellular for enterprises as an addition to the APs, but basically, at least in this part of the world, you need service providers to help you, and they don't want.
Now this is the fun thing. They might be Cisco, but we're Ericsson. Sorry, joking. But we have that relationship with the carriers to help them enable it. And Cisco are going to have a PCN solution. Other companies are going to build PCN solutions.
Going back to my question, because the prices, they're quite different.
So let me ask you this, how are you going to power the thing? Because now I've got a 5G radio, I've got a 6G radio, I've got a 2.4 gig running on what? BT or AT?
Class 3 BT power.
Class 3 BT power, and then I've got to power the cellular radio.
So I've got 90 watts.
I don't know because I haven't looked at the draw speed.
So 90 watts.
So if somebody wants to up to the the other question is, if I put a Wi-Fi radio and a cellular AP together, and there are companies doing this, we are rumoured to be doing this, Wi-Fi goes there, cellular goes way over here. So I can put Wi-Fi in that area, but then I put up another Wi-Fi cellular IP in that area.
I find it strange. You answer my question with how you can power it, and I'm asking back to you, how are you, if you say they are complementary technologies, how is the customer paying for it? Because you have to build a separate network.
So this is the thing, you build a separate load rollout network. You will build, even if it's got BLE in there, you will build a something with infrastructure to support the BLE stuff on the back end. It's there to help. It's, are you going to walk into a hotel and go, I'm going to build you a PCN network? Maybe not. It's not the type of thing. The Wi-Fi network is still going to be the core network. Are you going to walk into a hospital and say, I'm going to build you a PCN network because one, you can't get cellular coverage in the hospital. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to build you a neutral host network, which means I can advertise to KPN, for example. Or I can build and slice the network to offer services in the hospital. People are willing to pay for this extra network because they see the benefit it brings in some cases. That factory environment, it's all about safety. They don't care that it costs $1 million, just say for example, $1 million to put that PCN in as an overlay next to the Wi-Fi network. Because if I kill Bill because they ran him over with an HEV, because the network was slow. It's a different thing. So, I think people are going to build cellular Wi-Fi APs. Do we do it currently? No. Are we competing? No. Because there are a lot of Wi-Fi networks out there already, and yes, we are going to have to build a separate network in theory. Yes, sir.
What's your vision? Should I go with an operator private network, or should I buy and own my own private network?
This is a great question. I'm not saying your question was a great question. So wrong. So wrong. We never bring it back to the level of We're working with carriers in the UK right now. Because carriers have all these guys that have been climbing these masts and putting up these things for years. They can also get a spectrum a lot easier. I don't know what the situation is within the Netherlands about getting spectrum. In the UK, you go to Ofcom and you go, can I have some spectrum in this area? And they go, oh, no. Because Vodafone own this, and O2 own this, and EE own this.
And the Netherlands is the same. One of the reasons why 4G, 5G is very expensive and cumbersome, because you need carriers and a lot of stuff, so that's why the market is smaller. For instance, in Germany, you can actually get spectrum as a company from whoever their regulator is at a reasonable price. So you see car manufacturers large ones running pilots there. There's still pilots, but they're running pilots there. But in the Netherlands, there's just not that much traction because it's service providers, it's expensive and complicated compared to.
And the hard, and then we can build the greatest box in the world, right? It can be shiny, you can have a bit of flashing lights on it, it can work really, really well.
Spectrum is the issue.
And then you can't get spectrum. So, in the UK, we're doing things to overcome that because we have a close working relationship with Ofcom. If you want to build your own private cellular network, then you have to go and get the spectrum. If you can get the spectrum, then why wouldn't you want your own private cellular network and make services from that revenue stream? It's the spectrum, that is the $1 million question. You know, we all work for different companies, but we all agree on that fundamental point. You know, it's easier in the UK to get 5G spectrum than it is to get 4G spectrum. You got a 5G spectrum, 9 times out of 10 they'll come give you 5G and you go, ooh, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it's really weird. It's really, really weird. Okay? So, did that answer your question? The hard bit is if you get the spectrum and you're running a business as an MSP or a service provider or a reseller, then you may want to run it yourself. This project that we're working on with this fire stuff, they want to run the network themselves. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's in the back end of nowhere. There is nothing anywhere near it. Right? I think we're going to get spectrum fairly easily there because there is nothing. And they're going to run that network themselves because they want to deploy in other locations also. So again, it depends. This guys is to me still a good 6 months to a year away of being deployed in anger if we can get the spectrum. The spectrum is about. Anything else, guys? Yes, sir.
How do you handle the different authentication backends? Well, a device has, you use EAP.
So we were drunk in a bar last night. There's a pattern formula there. So me and William had drawn a whiteboard session the day before and thought we'd come up with a really, really good idea. Because you're right, I want to go from a cellular to a Wi-Fi network. Or I want to go from a Wi-Fi to a cellular network. Really, that's a bit of overlap. We've got this cool thing called open roaming. I think you should go, that was a great invention, right? But it's that thing between the two. We think we have an understanding on how we're going to do it. I'm not about to say yet because it's secret squirrel stuff and I still own a man on the back of the bar and really big beer. But it's a standard that's in the industry right now. And if we can get it to do what we think we can get it to do, it should be quick. And it should work. But again, because these haven't been deployed to any yet, apart from in the US where they just break stuff, right? It's still this learning curve. But that was a great question as well. Because how do we do this? all this is part of a learning curve as we move forward. And I want to thank Mark for the chance to talk today. So, anything else? Because now I can go and sit at the back of the room. I want backwards and forwards slightly. No? Good, perfect. Thank you very much, guys.